I'm just waiting for the signal. I'm just not, stuck here. So, Minister, Your Excellencies, our honored guests, dear friends and colleagues, we have gathered today to honor a great friend of Greece, a sailor, a writer, a filmmaker, a man of action and art, Truls Klövmedal. Truls could not be among us today as he's not able to travel anymore, but he's watching us from our live streaming. Hi, Truls. And thanks for being Truls. Thank you all for coming. I would like to ask Mr. Nikos Papas, Minister of Digital Policy, Telecommunications and Media, to come to the podium.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence here. Truls Klövmedal is probably the most celebrated documentary maker in the Nordic countries, and definitely the most famous seaman in that region. He's a successful writer and also very well known in Denmark for his long-standing love for Greece and its civilization. Truls first sailed in Greece during the dictatorship, and his first impression of the ancient columns was that they were magnificent, yet somehow obscure due to the hardship the country was going through. Even then, the Greek hospitality was wholehearted, and that was one of the reasons he fell in love with the country and the Greek archipelago in particular. In his own words, I have navigated all the Greek islands, which is rare even for Greeks. 35 years ago, I wrote a book with the title, From My Heart, My Bank Bag, and My Greek Logbook, published in 1,045,000 copies. I assure you many Greeks, they look up to him for this achievement.
A lot of Greeks, I'm saying, Mr. Ambassador, are really jealous of Truls for this achievement, for having the chance to see so many Greek islands through his lifetime.
I have sailed the Greek waters, he writes, altogether for more than 10 years, and it was a great pleasure for me when the Danish public broadcaster, TV2, asked me to produce a TV series about the Greek culture I carry deep in my heart. My global circumnavigations, 3 in total, always started and finished in Greece. In this sense, Truls is the continuator of a perhaps unknown, but real and important chain of Danish philhellenes. Its first links emerged in the struggle for Greek independence in 1821. The core of the Philhellenic movement in Denmark appeared at the Student Union of the University of Copenhagen. News from was republished in Danish newspapers from French and the German press, while literary publications such as the monthly Hesperus and Freya published articles and poems dedicated to Greece. Danish intellectual tried to upset the apple cart. Poet Stensen Blicher with his poem on the destruction of Psara and the hymn of victory to the Greeks. Others were active in Philhellene circles outside of Denmark. The poet Jens Baggensen in Switzerland and the writer Peter Andreas Heidelberg in Paris. People of the clergy were not immune to the Greek affair. The Lutheran bishop Friedrich Munter corresponded with Greek Orthodox priests and offered his sympathy, while priest Hans Bastholm organized fundraisings. Even the successor to the throne, Prince Christian Frederick, responded anonymously to such a fundraising. In 1827-1828, the Committee for Help to Sufferers in Greece was founded. This committee raised money until April 20, 1829. It had collected 60,000 francs and sent them to Kapodistrias through Einard. The same year, the Danish Philhellene newspaper Grekkervenen, the Philhellene, was founded, which published news from revolted Greece and also calls for help for Greeks to European countries. The subscription fees went to the Greeks. Modern research confirms that 8 Danes went to Greece to fight for its independence, despite the explicit prohibition for the formation of such a voluntary corps for Greece under the royal decree of 19 September 1821. 3 of them lost their lives. The latest link of this Philhellenic chain are found in another struggle of the Greek people, the one against the military dictatorship between 1967 and 1974. One of these links is Truls' brother, Björn Eriksson, who will receive the award on his behalf. Björn, as a student, secretly transferred money to the resistance organizations in Athens to assist their struggle against the oppressors of the Greek people. Today, we honor Truls for his love for Greece and his cultural devotion to the Greek spirit. Together with this plaque and the diploma, we offer him our deepest appreciation and a promise to fulfill his expectations for a better future for Greece. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Papas. And I would like to ask His Excellency, the Danish Ambassador, Mr. Michael Brad, to step up.
Minister Papas, Secretary General, dear members of the Kløvedal family, dear friends from Greece and from Denmark. It's a genuine pleasure for me to be here today and take part in this gathering to honor my fellow countryman, Troels Kløvedal. First, I'd like to warmly thank Minister Papas for his presence here today and also for taking this wonderful initiative. I'd also like to thank his team this event. I recall how Mr. Rosidis some time ago reached out to me and told me about this official Greek initiative to present Troels Kløvedal with an award in honor of his lifelong interest in and passion for Greece. And of course, at the Danish Embassy, we were very glad to offer our strong support for this event. For nothing really could be more meaningful than this celebration. No award could be more well-deserved. Troels Kløvedal is known by every Dane. As a young person, he had the courage and the skill to travel that many of us lacked. He opened a path, he traveled for us, and he lived our dreams in many ways. Troels Kløvedal has a rare gift. He has a capacity to absorb and to reach a deep understanding of different cultures. He has a remarkable sensitivity, and things have a way of getting under his skin, and I think that no culture more so than the Greek culture. Kløvedal, as Mr. Papas mentioned, has traveled around Greece all his life, and through his books and films, he has reminded us again and again of how much Greece has given to humanity over the ages, and also how Greece, in so many ways, is at the very core of our European civilization. Over the years, Kløvedal has inspired and stimulated interest in Greek culture, history, and mythology among a very great number of Danes. Out of a population of 5 million Danish citizens visit Greece, and many have returned for decades, year after year. So there clearly is a bond, a kind of remarkable loyalty between the Greeks and the Danes, as also Mr. Papas demonstrated. This is a bond, a loyalty that goes back in history. And it's also a bond that Mr. Kløvedal's work has contributed to. There's another thing about Troels Kløvedal that makes him stand out, I think, and that is his urge to share with others, be it readers, viewers, or the many people he has invited on his ship over the years. The Greeks have a word that covers the kind of generosity, kindness, and cultural respect that Kløvedal represents. The Greeks call it philotimo, and Kløvedal seems to have adopted this part of Greek culture early on, and it's something that he has practiced for his entire life. He understands that pleasure in life is not about taking, it's all about giving. So I'm happy that today Kløvedal himself is at the receiving end. In the course of my correspondence with Troels Kløvedal about this event, he often returned to his love of the exceptionally bright light here in Attica. And Troels, I know you're with us there out there somewhere and watching this event from Denmark, and I hope that you can sense how the light of Attica is shining on you today. I thank you.
Your Excellency, of course we cannot watch all of Troels Kløvedal's work, but we have prepared a small tribune that will give us the highlights. Let's watch it together.
Designet nu.
A few weeks ago, our ministry created the National Center for Audiovisual and Communication. Its president, Mr. Panos Kouanis, will please come. Will be the one to present the award to Truls Kluvendal's brother, Mr. Björn Eriksson, who is here with us. Please, Mr. Eriksson.
Yeah, I will give a little thank you speech afterwards.
Okay, absolutely. So, dear Minister, Your Excellency, honorable guests, Truls Klövdal comes from Denmark, a nation rich with history and culture, well known for its artists and writers, as well as for its explorers and seafarers. So it should be of no surprise that Truls Klövdal is all of the above. He's an actor, a filmmaker, a writer, but also an explorer and a seafarer. For the past 50 years, he has traveled extensively all over the world, from China to the Indian Ocean and Tahiti. And during all those trips, through his films and books, he has successfully managed to capture the energy and document the history and the culture of all the places he visited. All these adventures all over the world had one thing in common. They always started and ended in one place, and that was Greece. For Truls Klövdal is a passionate admirer and an unconditional lover of our country, Greece, of our culture by studying Greek literature and history, and of our islands, which he has extensively navigated. Since 1972, when Truls Klövdal first visited Greece, he keeps coming back constantly, only to reconfirm his love for our country, our history, our culture, our natural beauties, our unique Greek light and sky. Through his documentaries and books, Truls Klövdal explores and consequently presents and unfolds to the world Greece, his Greece, our Greece. For this reason, Truls Klövdal's admiration and unconditional love for all things Greek, we are gathered here today to thank him and honor him, as he has proved that Greece is always in his heart and his mind, and as such, he is also in ours, for we consider him a Greek. I would like to invite his brother, Mr. Björn Eriksson, who is also his producer, to come to the podium and receive the award on his behalf.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dear Minister Pappas and dear Ambassador Brohl and dear friends and family from Denmark and from Greece. As you now all know, my brother Truls is ill. He is in fact deadly ill. He suffers from the disease called ALS, for which there is no treatment. His body is fighting for survival. The only thing not attacked is his brain and his mind. It is as clear and shining as ever. But what you also told, he is here now, on a live link to the hospital. As you told, Truls entered Greek waters 45 years ago, in 72. It was dark times for Greece. But three things immediately captured him: your hospitality, your Attic light, and your history. Truls writes to you, and now I'm quoting, "The Greek hospitality is legendary, and in all the descriptions found by European travelers, hospitality is emphasized as part of the Greek national soul. On both big and small islands, we were invited to a farm ball, to a wedding, or just a festive evening with a thyme fragrant sheep was slaughtered. The country was poor at that time. The shadow of the Second World War was not so far away, but the spirit of life and family unity were strong. My children grew up on the ship in Greek waters. My daughter Gurli, who's sitting there, learned to walk on the island of Sara. And later, as a 14-year-old girl, she sailed with me through the entire empire. My daughter Sille, who's sitting there, did the same when she was 12 years old. And my daughter Lerke also joined me in Greek waters. And my two sons learned to dive in Greece on a full ship, often with a lot of Greek friends on board. I have, as you also told, visited all the Greek islands. I will add personally here all the inhabited Greek islands. And I have seen a rise in prosperity that has changed the islands for good, bad, but still the hospitality remains. So far, Troels, to you about the hospitality which is unique. Your invitation for today and your honoring my brother is just another gesture, showing your modern hospitality. Troels also very early fell in love with your Attic light. He writes to you, when you are raised as a young Nordic man with long, dark winters, and you for the first time sail into Greek waters, an inner redemption, a revelation meets you. The first Europeans called it the Attic light when they came home and told about the light in Greece. The same light makes your blue sea euphoric. Your sky and your sea have everything a Nordic soul is longing for. One feels completely healthy and strong. You feel enlightened, and you feel a strong zest of life. I can add that when you shoot a film here with modern digital technology, you can in fact capture this light and the colors. We just saw some examples of. Troels knows the Greek mythology and your Greek history better than anybody in Denmark. Again, he writes to you. Today you often read about the Greek debt to Europe. In fact, it is the other way round. Europe is in deep debt to Greece. You have generously given us everything. The ideas about democracy, the idea of the state and its role, the literature by Homer traveling with Odysseus, the drama of the theater scene with Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Aristophanes, the medical science of Hippocrates, the sculpture by Myron and Scopas and Lysippos. If you go for a walk in Copenhagen, the classic Greek architecture is all around you. We develop scientifically with your mathematics and your arithmetic as the foundation stones. Every Danish student has classes in Greek ancient time because every Danish student needs to learn about the cradle of culture. It is us who have a debt problem. It is us who say thank you for all of it. I'm sorry not to be able personally to receive the prize due to my severe illness, but the joy of the prize is no less for that reason. I trust that we will see a happy Greece and a happy Denmark, and I dream of a close friendship between our two countries, my two homelands. This was the greetings from Troels to you. Now allow me to say a personal thank you to Zafarias Rosidis and his beautiful Dimitra. Zaf and Dimitra were the two architects behind this event. We got to know each other when they worked on the Greek embassy in Copenhagen. And for my wife and for myself, they are the incarnation of Greek hospitality and Greek generosity. Thank you for everything.
Well, I take the opportunity and the mic to say a few words about Bjørn Eriksen. Bjørn is probably the most emblematic personality in the Danish media. Although he retired a few years ago, he still enjoys immense respect from his colleagues, and his view carries a lot of weight. Bjørn holds an MA degree in history and has worked as a program producer for DRTV Denmark's public TV and radio. He's the founder and principal of the European Film College, which is an international film and television school offering education to young talents and media professionals as well. In the past, he has served as managing director for DRTV and chairman of the board for Nordvision, which is a cooperation for the 5 Nordic countries, producing more than 5,000 hours of TV programs a year. In the past, he has served as managing director for DRTV and chairman, I've just said that, I'm sorry. He was director, he has done so many things in his professional life that I messed it up. He was director of television for EBU in Geneva from 2002 to 2010. Since then, he has been employed as an international TV consultancy expert in Azerbaijan, Belarus, and the UK. He teaches at the Academy of Journalism in Kiev, Ukraine, and the European Television Management Academy in Strasbourg, France. Bjørn is also a senior expert for the European Commission and member of the Executive Board for TV2 Denmark, Have Communication, and the Union of Investigative Journalists in Denmark. Beyond that, he is a passionate lover of Greek civilization and history, and for decades has been acting as a zealous champion for Greece in Denmark. On numerous occasions, he helped the press office of the Greek embassy to organize cultural events in Denmark with stunning success. Not least of all, it is worth noting that in the past, Bjørn stood up to the Greek dictatorship by secretly transporting money from Denmark to the resistance in Greece. With a view to Bjørn's spectacular career and his admirable personal affection to Greece, we are happy to award him with an honorary diploma as a humble token of acknowledgement and appreciation.
So, thank you all for coming. It's time to mingle and to get to know better our guests here. Thank you all again, and Truls, we love you. Bye.